Chapter 36 is still a dog. First more. Are you going to die? King Yaosa felt that death was about to fall by his side. Want to give up. But in the end he stood up with his sword. If I were to die, Lot and Morgan's plan would fall to nothing. The chalk city will also fall into the hands of the humble king. Then everything will be lost. I can only count on Altria to go back to the country. In that case, it is too difficult. I still want to keep my destiny in my hands. Holding the broken sword, he rushed towards Fu Taiging. I have calculated so much before, but in the end I will still get such a fate. So how can I be convinced? I'm holding back my daughter and son-in-law. I, King Yao Zef, will never be worse than others. Standing dead, it's better than giving up. As for the funeral, Morgan or Altria is up to them. Merlin will help Altria, and Morgan will have Lot to support. The two sides can be said to be evenly matched. As for the final result, who cares? I just want to win now. King Asa launched an attack on Votagung. The blood of the whole person's red dragon was boiling. War. Facts have proved that only those who are not afraid of death can live to the end. Although Fu Taiging was good at fighting, his men were not good. My hometown has been copied, so what's the fighting power? The current Votagung army, it is estimated that both of them can be killed by grabbing bones with a dog. Although the number of King Yaosa's men was small, after King Yaosa took out all his possessions to reward him, his morale was much higher than that of the opponent. Moreover, during the battle, smoke and dust appeared behind the Votagung army, as if the enemy from the rear had arrived. This time, Fu Taiging's army wanted to retreat even more. In the end, even though Votagung left several fatal wounds on King Asa's body. However, the chalk city was still firmly guarded by King Arthur. Votagung did not occupy the city. As for the smoke rising from behind, after Fu Taiging chased him up, he only saw a war horse with a small tree tied behind him. As for the one who controls the horse, Votagung saw only a mean figure in white clothes with an apple in his hand. Damn it! He cursed loudly. I don't know if it is cursing Merlin who has gone away, or cursing King Yaozef on the wall, or it's his own trash men. Sacrificing these guys to increase their combat power is more effective than these. Fu Taiging looked at his men and thought in his heart. As for King Yaosa, who was standing on the wall of the city, at this moment, he also showed a surviving expression. Compared with the war in the chalk city, at this moment, Lot's side, it was very comfortable. What is the happiest thing in life? Using the enemy's items, enjoying the enemy's food. Also, go to sleep. The enemy's bed. He was lying on the bed. Morgan leaned on the head of the bed and looked at Lot with his head in his hands. Two people, not even an inch. It seemed that he had experienced a battle that was not weaker than their wife. Lighten up, and go up a bit. Morgan gently grasped Lot's back, which was smoother and whiter than a woman. Lot is very satisfied. Oh, my wife is really great. Without saying anything, I knew where to scratch me. Well, it looks like we adjusted Zhao pretty well. Morgan listened to Lot's thoughts. His heart was angry and wanted to laugh. This luscious dog, can you tell me honestly that it's not good to communicate with each other? Also adjust me? I'll adjust Zhao and you are almost the same. Morgan thought about it, and then grabbed his ribs. Hiss. Lot instantly stood up like a cat with fried hair. Although his body is strong, he is very afraid of itching. This weakness has long been known to Morgan. Morgan smiled brightly. Hey, still want to adjust me? Save it. I said Morgan, I didn't offend you. Why did you scratch me suddenly? Lot said aggrieved. Humphrey. Morgan made an unreasonable expression. Then, she waited for a while and continued to ask Lot, by the way, you said there is nothing wrong with father, right? Don't worry, your father is so strong, surely nothing will happen. Lot lay on Morgan's lap casually, and said indifferently, the rear is in chaos. I still don't believe that he can continue to fight. Don't worry, as long as we win here, we will definitely give Camelot a big victory. He patted Morgan's thigh lightly. He seems to be not at all worried about his father-in-law's safety. It's just that Morgan can hear his heart clearly at this moment. In fact, the danger of King Arthur is still great. Even if I had already talked to Merlin and asked him to be a suspicion, the safety of my father-in-law could not be fully guaranteed. It's just that these won't let Morgan know. She was very worried about her father. His father's situation was actually very dangerous. Frontal defense. We don't have the slightest chance of winning. Only by starting from behind, there will be a little chance of winning, but the danger is still great. But these don't need Morgan to know. I can always protect her, both physically and psychologically. My father-in-law, you must hold on. I don't know how to comfort Morgan. So, I can only stop Morgan from worrying. After a while, continue to prepare for battle, so that your soldiers can guarantee to defeat Votagung's army. Moreover, Morgan, who has been watching the victory, is actually very cute, isn't it? Immediately, Lot blinked and looked at Morgan and said, rather than thinking about this, it is better to study how to make our children. I feel that in the future our children will be the key to defeating the king. You want to endure everything silently? You have to do everything yourself. Morgan looked at Lot and wanted to cry. However, she restrained it. He said with disgust, don't do it. I'm tired. I'm sleeping. If you can't help it. How about if you can't help it? Hold it for me. Morgan rolled up all the quilts, and then surrounded his head. Laughter. Do you think I am a fragile little girl? I am not a woman who needs your protection. Morgan tried to collect his tears. Humphrey. So she won't show her weakness. Morgan thought so. Then, frowned. Hiss. Take a breath. This guy, although very man, but it's still a dog. The 37th chapter talks about retreat. It must be extremely fast. Second more. Laughter. Dogs, not only for sex, but also for dogs. Taking advantage of that sage time, when thinking is not disturbed by other desires. Lot began to think quickly. How should I go about doing Votagung next? When it comes to fighting, my father-in-law can't beat him, let alone me. Therefore, we must find advantages. There is a saying in my hometown. Poor tactics are interspersed, and rich firepower is covered. If we are really rich, we will lead a large group of archers to attack Votagung's army and turn each of them into hedgehogs. There is also a whole army of magicians next to it, which makes people show extremely strong offensive power. But if it doesn't work now, we can only take advantage of the opportunity to carry out a sneak attack. When the enemy retreats, look for opportunities to sneak attack. We must seize the opportunity to attack the weak points of the Votagung army. Our soldiers, because they all live by the sea, eat a lot of sea fish, and the number of night blindness at night is very small. This time, I want to let Votagung's army see us at night, as if they saw a group of ghosts. Lot patted his palm lightly. Okay, let's fix the food transport team first. At that time, Votagung, who has no food, will be more chaotic. In this era, everyone has to eat. People are iron rice but steel. When the food is gone, no one can stand it, and the military will be even more distracted. At that time, it is estimated that without us taking action, his soldiers will have to go 7 or 88. Morgan secretly remembered it in his heart. In the future, if you lead the army of Camelot or Orkney on a march, you must protect your food. If someone were to go to their own granary, no one could bear it. Would you like to poison them along the way in the past? Find a few dead animals and put them in the water source to ensure that the enemy will get dysentery. Morgan almost stared out. This is too wicked. Forget it. Forget it. These are really against the heavens. Moreover, if the plague really broke out, it would not be worth the gain. Phew. Fortunately, Goosey, you are not so frantic to this point. If you really come up with such a plan, I really don't know whether to agree or oppose it. But having said that, would getting a dead body into the well water cause a plague? If this is the case, can I use this method to threaten others? Although the practice is very dirty, it is very effective. Okay, remember, maybe you can use it later. Lot and Morgan rested for a while, and then they were going to do the following things. As soon as Lot and Morgan appeared, Merlin held the apple and stood not far from them. Oh, Your Majesty Lot, I have done everything you told me, Merlin said to Lot. With that said, he even took a bite of the apple at will. Okay, all right. Lot nodded slightly. Damn Merlin, what if Morgan asks him? But listening to his words, my father-in-law and father-in-law shouldn't have many problems, and it's pretty good. Lot looked at Morgan. Come on, Morgan, you go to see the soldiers and see if they are ready. We can wait until the evening, then we can act. Good. Of course Morgan knew what Lot meant, and gave him a secret glance. Good guy, are you afraid that I'm uncomfortable? Morgan thought about it, then glanced at Lot, and then walked towards the barracks. Watching the sound of her boots spread far away, and Morgan walked to the distance, Lot looked at Merlin. Merlin, your bad taste is really heavy. Seeing that there were only 2 of them here, Lot immediately grabbed Merlin's clothes and questioned him. It's not like this. Merlin's smile remained unchanged. After all, I brought back good news anyway, didn't I? He said to Lot. What's the specific situation? Lot continued to inquire. It's just a little bit short, and King Yasser is about to be defeated by Votagung. Then, Merlin told the information about what had happened before, and Votagung's army began to having fighting. Then, Votagung rejected all the opinions and decided to continue to launch a more fierce attack, and once boarded the castle to fight against King Yasser. In the end, King Yaozef managed to escape while he was making a commotion behind him, and he told Lot all about it. Speaking of the end, Merlin boasted. Look, Majesty Lot, I played the final decision in it. Without me, Your Majesty King Arthur would have died in battle. In this regard, Lot said that Merlin played the same role as the heir in Lay's potato chips. It looks quite big, but it's actually not at all. But something is better than nothing. It is actually very difficult for Merlin, a tax evader, to do such a thing. What about King User's body? Not much for the time being, Merlin answered Lot. But Lot also heard clearly what the subconscious meant. Temporary does not mean permanent. So, we only need to do our best to deal with the troops that Vogging has withdrawn. Well, the pressure is not very great, Lot thought in his mind. Let's retreat. Looking at the army that had retreated, Votagung sighed and said, although I don't want to admit it, I seem to be defeated. Even if we turned around and wiped out the troops that came over, we also failed. Pity. Even if he wanted to organize an attack on the Chalk City anymore, these men would not agree. They must be worried about their ear, worried that the wealth they had accumulated before will disappear. Therefore, the eagerness in their hearts is already obvious. Good. We're ready. When they heard that they could go back, Everyone immediately became excited. Speaking of attacks, these people are slower than anyone else. But now as soon as he said that he could go back, as soon as Fu Taigang spoke, these people immediately became energetic, and they had already packed their luggage. You can go home anytime. Fu Taigang gritted his teeth. My subordinates, how come there are not a few who can stand up for it? One after another thieves love home. I hope we can go back smoothly. Fu Taigang thought in his heart. Soon, the soldiers assembled, and after Vortan arranged the broken troops, he led the troops to the south and began to advance. The goal was that it belonged to Votajing before, but now it belongs to Lot's castle. Chapter 38 Sneak attack to make up yesterday's third update. Whole army. Although the army has no fighting spirit at all, it still has the foundation after all. They are still methodical about how to withdraw their troops. Although the team is retreating, the queue is still very neat. From the looks of it, it doesn't look like a defeated army at all. Even Votagung had a plan to see if King Yaosa in the Chalk City would come out to pursue him, then make a counterattack posture. But this King Yaozef still has a few words about his state. Just let you go and withdraw. Anyway, there is my little brother and my virtuous son-in-law in front. He will teach you a good lesson. In the middle of the night, Vudajan's army was stationed on a plain. The tens of thousands of troops are not small in scale. In this dark night, it was very conspicuous. Even at a distance, Lot and Morgan could show them clearly. Looking at this battle, Fu Taigang didn't plan that we would take the opportunity to attack. Lot looked at Morgan and commented, well, indeed. These guys really thought we would be in that castle waiting for their attack. Morgan nodded in agreement. Lot glanced at her, then whispered to her, by the way, Morgan, or you go back first. The next battle is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. It's dangerous to me. But isn't it dangerous to you? I said, you can't secretly act behind me next time. No matter how dangerous you do, I will definitely follow you. Tonight, Lot is ready to act with Morgan on his back. After all, he was going to fight against Vortigern. Their numbers are still on the lower side. Even a sneak attack is very dangerous. Unlike an attack on the castle, their numbers are already dominant, and they won't put Morgan in a dangerous state no matter how they fight. Lot was afraid of something wrong with Morgan, so he wanted to ask Morgan to stay here secretly, and then lead his troops to attack Vortigern. For Lot's thoughts, Morgan heard clearly. Not bad at all. In this regard, Morgan's choice was of course to rush over to join the battle against Vortan while Lot was preparing to send troops. What a joke. Sexcusi, are you still going to abandon me? I won't give you this opportunity. Since it is a husband and wife, of course they have to act together. My magic level is superb. Morgan took the staff and said to Lot seriously. Lot originally wanted to refuse again, but Morgan's expression was very determined. Therefore, he can only bring Morgan with him. But now when the attack came, he was still a little worried, and then he persuaded Morgan to go home. Why is my wife so adventurous? No, I still want my wife and children to be hot on the bed every day, and she is not ashamed or embarrassed. Although she is a superb magician, what should I do in danger? Or, I'll hit her on the head first, knock her fainted and send her back. Okay? Morgan squinted his eyes. What a pervert, you still want to beat your wife? Seeing Lot look into his line of sight, Morgan stepped back a little bit and said to him, don't try to use strong means. If you dare to do this, I won't forgive you. Seeing her wary expression, Lot was a little bit dumbfounded. I haven't done anything yet. I just moved a little. Thought. Okay, you pay me attention to safety. Is this always okay? Well, this is fine. Hearing Lot say this, Morgan nodded in satisfaction. After the two said this, Lot continued to look at the barracks. Prepare, start the attack. Remember, we must first destroy the enemy's food location. As for the humble king, we don't want to go over. Lot opened his mouth and ordered. Yes. The soldiers nodded together. Immediately, they began to move forward quietly. And in the process of moving forward, Lot was still thinking in his heart. The strength of the humble king is simply not something that these thousands of people under me can defeat. He is really a person who can destroy the army by one person, and we definitely don't take him lightly. Alas, let's talk about making go first. Hearing what he said, Morgan rolled his eyes at him. Laughter. Make can you wait until the battle is over? Really? Some men can be in heat at any time. Tonight, Fu Taigang always feels something is wrong. It seems that something is happening, but it should be an illusion. It should be because of my failure in this war. He touched his temple and thought in his heart. He found that the difference between this war and the previous one was too great. This King Yaozef has changed his sex, and is no longer rigid with himself as before. This style of play makes him really uncomfortable. This is too difficult. This style of play is definitely not what King Yaozef can think of himself. There must be someone else in the battle command this time. Perhaps, when I go to deal with those who sneak on my back, I will be able to see the enemy. Fu Taigang thought in his heart. At this moment, he suddenly felt a strange sound. Sneak attack? Do they dare to attack my army? Vortigern was a little unbelievable. There are so many fewer people than us, so dare you to come sneak attack? What do they want to do? Didn't you want to kill me? If you kill me, I will let them know my strength. Fu Taiging was a little puzzled. Moreover, it seems that the place they attacked is not like the hinterland of our barracks. Not good. These guys want to attack the food. Votajing was really angry. The commander of this enemy is really the shameless guy he has ever seen. There is no knight's rule at all. Sneak attack on the back, still attacking the granary. Good guys have the ability to fight head-on. Fu Taiging thought in his heart. He walked out of the camp, turned on his horse, and rushed to the place where the food was stored. Come, let me see what you are like. At this moment, there was noisy in the barracks. The soldiers were suddenly awakened in the night, and the whole camp was in chaos. Fu Taiging killed several people with a sword, and he stabilized a group of people a little bit. Save the food first. Fu Taiging thought in his heart. He led people to hurried over. But because it was a sneak attack, when Fu Taiging brought people over, the granary had already been taken. The leader is a very handsome young man. Is this guy the commander this time? Although he only met once, Fu Taiging judged it in his heart. He still believed in his own judgment. This kind of temperament is something other people don't have. So Fu Taiging stepped forward, holding the sword, and came to Lot. From an enemy's point of view, you are a despicable enemy. However, from a military point of view, you are a respectable opponent, Votajing said. Then he looked at Lotta again and said, follow me. King Arthur gave you, and I give you twice. Double? Lot showed the same expression as he had when meeting with King Yaozef. Okay, why is it so weird? Also, why did the girl next to her show an angry expression on her face? Chapter 39 is worthy of being a husband and wife. First more. Sure enough, Vortigern is our life's enemy. What's the matter? What did King Arthur give? And then I give a double share. My father married me to a dog. So, what is your double? 2. Morgan took hold of the staff and released his magic at Vortigern. When Fu Taiging was still wondering why the expression on this person's face turned out to be this person suddenly raised his hand and attacked him. Who are you? Vortigern avoided the past, and then asked Morgan with a dark face. What is the situation with you? You go sneak attack on my army, and then burn my grain and grass. These are the normal actions of the army, so of course I can accept it. But, now that I came here, I just opened my mouth to recruit the person in front of me, so you suddenly attacked me? Do you still talk about chivalry? Lot will not surrender to you. Morgan gritted his teeth. Yes. Lot also smiled and approved Morgan's words on the side. At the same time, secretly said in my heart, Bwang, you single dog for 10,000 years, how can you give me 2 daughters? Also, even if you have 2 daughters, would Morgan be so good looking? Hey, wait, isn't Votajing Morgan's uncle? Then it should be Saba's face at birth. Forget it, I can't think about it. Morgan raised his eyebrows slightly. Good guys. Laughter. You really dare to think about 2 thoughts? Bastard, am I not good looking? Do you still want the second one? Although I know it's not illegal to think about it. However, I am just not happy. Wait for you to bite you to relieve your anger. I won't give up if you don't bite out an indelible mark later. But now, let's deal with the culprit first. Votagung, I remember you. If I don't tear you down, I will have your last name. Morgan remembered the words Lot often swears, and subconsciously thought, kill him. Morgan released the magic once again, unleashing a circle of explosions in front of Votajing. Her aptitude is indeed good, but in terms of experience and strength, she is far worse than Fu Taiging. Her attack was easily blocked by Fu Taiging. You wanna die? Votagung was really angry. He swung his sword and attacked. But at this moment, Lot held the long sword and greeted him. Want to touch my wife? Do you think I am a display? He yelled to Votagung. Morgan heard these words twice at the same time. One was called by Lot, and the other was what he thought in his heart. His will can be seen in general. Morgan listened with a smile on his face. I won't bite you later, this luscious dog. Wait a minute. Let's give you a hot kiss. And, Votajing, you dare to do something to my husband. I want your life. Morgan performed magic at the same time and attacked Votagung. Although Lot had been thinking in his heart that he was the same as Huo Zongru, he had no other ability besides being able to give birth to a son. However, he actually knew that he was a knight of great skill. This is no wonder. His 3 children and Morgan's status in the Knights of the Round Table are not low. Especially Gao Wen. Although the main credit is the result of Morgan's hard work for revenge, it is unrealistic to say that Lot's further is not good enough. The reason Lot has always been supported by so many people. In addition to his own inventions and creations, his own strength should not be underestimated. The other people in his territory are not his opponents at all. Now, facing Fu Taiging, he naturally wanted to release all his strength. Swing a sword, parry. Lot and Votajing cut each other a few times. Good strength. Fu Taiging raised his eyebrows slightly and said, Lot's strength is already very strong among normal people. But compared with someone like himself who has the blood of the white dragon, there is still a gap. Victory will ultimately belong to oneself. Even if the magician girl next to her is added, it won't work. Just a few attacks. Sweat was already coming out of Lot's forehead. This guy is really strong and outrageous. No, you have to support the dog. Morgan read Lot's heart, and his heart was very anxious. My current magic, attack power is still not enough. So, if you want to repel this humble king, you still need to find a way. Wait, maybe that thing will do. However, I need a chance, an opportunity to draw a gun from my arms. Upon hearing this, Morgan's eyes lit up. Laughter needs a chance. Understood. Morgan thought of this, and rushed towards Votagung. Hey, thief son. Morgan remembered the taunting skills Lot had taught her before. After being scolded like this, Votagung's subconscious eyes turned away. Then, Morgan took the staff in his hand and released all his magic power. Flash. A huge flash of light was released in front of Votagung's eyes. He narrowed his eyes. The girl's magic power is not weak. But, the flash can pose no threat to me. Votagung thought in his heart. As for Lot, he can keep the distance from Lot. As long as Lot dared to rush over, he could easily avoid it. So what is the point of her doing this? Votagung didn't know. But Lot knew Morgan's purpose for doing this, although it is not clear how she knew. But he will not let go of this opportunity. The humble king, times have changed. He took the gun out of his arms. Although the origin bomb above is not very useful for Votagung. However, a bullet is a bullet. The lethality is sufficient. Boom. A soft sound. He attacked Votagung's head. Votagung was still thinking about it, and suddenly he noticed a hint of danger. Avoid gently. He felt something flying past him. Votagung felt a cut in his cheek. At this time, there were a few more rumors. What kind of attack is this? Votagung dodged backwards, and at this time, the flashing time is over. Lot had already embraced Morgan by the princess, mounted the horse and walked away. Votagung looked at the granary again. A raging fire was already burning there. Here has become a sea of flames. Food or something is about to turn to ashes. From now on, don't let me see these two people again. Otherwise, I must kill them. Votagung gritted his teeth and said. The woman ridiculed others, and directly attacked. As for the man, he used hidden weapons to hurt people. One is more yin than the other. It really deserves to be a family. Chapter 40 The Lost White Dragon, second more, please recommend. Ha ha ha, now, no one can change our victory. Standing in the distance, Lot and Morgan both showed wild smiles. They had asked the others to go back first. After all, they had been fighting all night, and it was time for them to take a rest. And these two people still want to watch this fire for a while. Such a happy thing. Of course it will take a while longer. Prepared for so long. Have gone through so many twists and turns. Votagung was finally defeated. Although he hasn't killed him yet, it will be at least a long time before Votagung wants to make a comeback. During this time, we can finally do some pleasant things. Finally I can fish. Lot shouted happily in his heart. This color dog. Just after winning, I started thinking about fishing. Morgan listened to Lot thinking so, but he didn't know what expression to make. Okay, if you win today, let him play for a few days. Wait to see what he wants, and show it to him before he says it. If it is not in the house, I will see if it is in my father's castle. HMPH, father, Lot and I helped you win the battle. Isn't it normal for us to take more? There must be no problem. These are for your son-in-law, who makes me a virtuous wife. She thought spoilingly in her heart. Immediately, her face changed. Of course, women can't do it. This is definitely not discussed. See, Guzi can only belong to me. Her exclusive desire is very heavy. It's like Camelot's successor can only be her alone. There are some things that can never be discussed. By the way, Morgan, how did you think of it just now and cover for me? At this moment, Lot remembered the excellent cooperation between Morgan and himself during the fight, and asked, this is how our hearts are connected. Morgan smiled triumphantly at this moment. At that time, I saw that you seemed to be preparing to attack. So, I will cooperate with you with all my strength. Lot, you can always trust me. I will definitely cooperate with you. By the way, what if I missed my hand just now? I believe you won't miss it, Morgan said firmly. Hearing her saying this, Lot's mouth rose unconsciously. Morgan, this silly girl, is really silly and cute. Morgan raised his brows when he heard Lot say this. Good guy, actually said I was a silly girl. Lot, come and stretch out your arm for me, Morgan said to Lot. What's wrong? Lot stretched out his arm. Watching him stretch out his arm, Morgan then untied his armor. Then, yeah, it's just a bite. Hiss. Lot watched Morgan bite his arm. What are you doing? I feel like you just hacked me in your heart. While biting and not letting go, Morgan said vaguely to Lot. When did I black you out? Lot said dumbfoundedly. I do not care. Morgan continued to speak unreasonably. But the sin this time is obviously much smaller than the tempest just now. So, after Lot was bitten for a while, Morgan was relieved. Morgan was finally satisfied. He hugged his arm and said to Lot, do you dare to see you in the future? I didn't do anything. Just think about it. Lot touched his tooth-marked arm and said to Morgan, I can't even think about it. Why can't you think about how beautiful I am? Morgan grabbed Lot's arm and reached out to give him a massage. While massaging, he said angrily, good, good, I promise to think more about it in the future. Seeing Morgan did this, Lot had no choice but to nod his head. Very perfunctory. Morgan commented. Then I will give you a perfunctory one? Really? You have to kiss until you can't breathe before you can admit it to me? Good guy, you slutty dog. You have such an idea. For thoughts like you. Am I obedient, or am I obedient? Half pushing. Immediately, she felt her arms around her waist. Going to kiss. Morgan closed his eyes, looking forward to Lot's action. Then, The two of them heard the sound of biting an apple. Lot and Morgan looked over. It happened to see a white-haired Ned wearing white clothes with an apple dangling from him, looking at them. "It's okay, you continue, when I don't exist. I came just to tell you that the army has successfully returned, and now under the command of Altria, it has begun to rest," Merlin said lightly. "Arsehole. How could this be regarded as non-existent?" Lot and Morgan thought together. "Lot, let me tell you one thing." Morgan spoke to Lot. "What's the matter?" "Go Shi Milin died unexpectedly. How about you coming to be the role of the Chinese teacher in the future?" "Good." Lot nodded vigorously. After that, he silently took out the long sword, and Morgan also took up the staff. "Some people, he is even more infuriating than a vicious enemy, should be beaten to death." Immediately, two people rushed over. Oh, Merlin spoke, and then just started slipping away. "This guy." Lot and Morgan were very angry. "Damn, although this fellow Merlin really has no emotions, I will avenge this revenge sooner or later." Morgan nodded vigorously, showing his approval of Lot's words. "To take revenge, you must find a chance to avenge your revenge." The other side. "Is the food gone?" Votagung heard the report from his subordinates and couldn't help closing his eyes. Alas, tonight's raid, let him know that the next war against Camelot is to change his strategy. "Next time you come to fight with them, you need to make a new battle plan." "Your Majesty, what should we do next?" As he was thinking, his men asked him. It was absolutely impossible to fight Lot again. "How can we fight without food?" "For the time being, the territories that I had left behind cannot be regained." "Okay." Fu Taiging thought for a while, then pointed to a point on the map. "At least we still have it there." "Next, we stay there and wait for opportunities." The place he points to is Wales. There, it is still his territory.